Today on the Pendulum, we do not have a ton of news. Comic-Con is done. So we have some on-the-spot comic reviews this week. We just came back from the store.
You say goodbye.
Per usual, of course.
Kind of a smaller week, heavy annuals, and at $5, not getting them, sorry.
DC annuals?
Yeah, 3 of them in a week.
Was there 3?
Aquaman, Action, and Green Lantern.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're all, the Green Lantern and the Superman one are, kickoffs or parts of overarching stories, which is a bit of a piss-off. Because annuals traditionally are self-contained stories, bigger...
Well, actually, Aquaman is self-contained.
Yes.
It's just about the others.
That's true.
Yeah.
But the Action and Green Lantern?
Integral.
Yeah, kind of, like I said, a bit of a piss-off. And at $5, there's no need for it to be...
Green Lantern Annual #1 was integral.
Nope.
It kicked off the... Because I just read it the other day, of the First Lantern, what's it called? First Lantern storyline? Yeah,
it was,
him and Simon Baz and all that.
Yeah, I don't like annuals being part of or kickoffs to book-wide stories.
Annual 1 was integral as well, so I don't know if they're going to keep doing that or...
Yeah, I'm not a fan. If they're going to do that, don't make them $5.
Yeah. So, on the monetary issue, the book I read this week was free of charge.
Dang.
Because it is actually a weekly serialized webcomic called Disenchanted from Avatar Press.
I read about that this week. I heard a lot about that book.
Yeah, it just premiered this week, but funny enough, the print edition given out for Free Comic Book Day was released on, I believe, officially Saturday, I think was what they were allowed to do in North America.
Okay, weird.
For that Halloween sort of Free Comic Book Day Part 2 thing. So, free comic book if you can find it in print, but free weekly online at disenchantedcomic.com, I believe.
Are they going to be collecting them in like a trade after the fact? Is this the only one being in print right now?
I don't know, because I don't think they're collecting that Avatar weekly collected or published one. But I'm not positive on that. But I don't think they are, so... Hard to say. I mean, I guess if they get a lot of traffic, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it all depends on. Disenchanted is sort of like the polar opposite of Fables. It's 90% so far about fairies. Little, big as your pinky finger fairies. They all live in the sewers underneath England, an abandoned train station, I want to say, or something.
That is a big bad wolf.
That's a rat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Looks wolfish.
Yeah. Or that one's a fox. There's a rat and a fox. Anyways, the art is by, I can't even, German Aramousby, maybe?
Sure. Sounds about right.
It's alright. It could be better. But, I mean, you're getting it for free, so what are you complaining about, really? It's written by Simon Spurrier. He's doing X-Men Legacy currently, and I can't remember, some other fine comics, I believe. He's a fairly good writer, and I enjoyed it. It was alright. For an introductory, anyways. Like, you're just gonna have to wait and see how it goes along, of course. All sorts of fairies, all sorts of kinds. He's gonna be introducing, he said, kobolds, leprechauns, bogarts, goblins, brownies, pixies, all sorts of things, so... It's not bad.
Cool.
Am I going to keep up with it weekly online? Probably not, because I like reading mine in printed form. And it's set up as in little, essentially either 1 or 2 or 3 panel pages. So they're not. It's not like a full comic page. It's only like a half a comic page. So you can see how it's all split into 2 there with black bars, right?
So that's 1 day to like.
Yeah, or
week.
They do 12. They do 12 pages a week.
Okay.
So for free, it's good.
Neat little intro.
Yeah, for free,
it's
not
all ages, I assume.
It's so far is not bad. It's got some risque language in it. So I don't know.
Crowd, probably.
Yeah, I don't know how far further they are going to go on that, but so far it's just language. Yeah, I'd say teen and up. Little kids, not so much. Sorry, little kids. But there is no, spoiler, parental lock on the site. So,
So I guess they do have to kind of watch what they do.
Yeah, I think so. But check it out. I believe it's disenchantedcomic.com. You can read it weekly, and
we'll toss a link in the description for people as well.
If you like fables or magic or anything like that, check it out. What do you got?
Well, I picked up a few new books this week, but I decided to crack into Ultimate Comics Cataclysm Point 1. Where God love the Point 1 issues. They just keep coming.
That's right.
Whoever came up with the Point 1 issue, swear to God, deserves a raise for the extra money they've managed to crank out of people over the last few years. Yep. But this one is basically if you haven't been reading Ultimate Comics for a little while, or you don't get all the Ultimate series,
that would be me.
It serves as an introduction to the Cataclysm story arc that's going to be starting up soon. It's a mini-series where Galactus shows up, the Marvel 616 Galactus shows up in the Ultimate Universe because of all the time stream universe screwing around with that the 616 heroes have done. So Galactus is ported over to the Ultimate Universe, and he actually kind of absorbed and started working with the Galactus wave from Ultimate Universe. So they were his lackeys for a little bit. I think that's gone now. I didn't read the latest issue of Hunger, so I'm not quite sure what happened to them because he changed his armor and everything. But like I said, this is a setup issue, and it uses the story point of view from the Vision. So she's basically investigating an incursion by the Galactus wave and realizes that it's not the same thing that she is built to fight against and that the universe has been dealing with for a long time. It's completely different. She kind of interfaces with the remnants of what's left over of the wave and finds out about the 616 universe. So it's her trying to, come to grips with what's going on, figure out what to do, and decides to go and try and confront this, or actually ends up confronting our Galactus, like the 616 Galactus. Yeah. But it's kind of cool because she knows that Galactus, this one, has been defeated before, at least temporarily, by like the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, Avengers.
Many times.
Yeah. They've cut deals, they've managed to push him back. But then she goes on to look at the Ultimate Universe versions of these things, like Reed Richards is in an asylum because he went criminally insane. The X-Men are even worse off in this world than they are in the 616 universe. Peter Parker's dead. You've got Thor, Cap, and some of the other tough powered soldiers basically are just broken down. They're kind of described as like conflicted soldiers. They don't really have a straight, narrow path they're on. Yeah. They're kind of all over the place. So it's kind of cool to see just how different the two universes are. And how the people that would defeat Galactus in the 616 universe really will be hard-pressed to stand a chance against him in the Ultimate Universe. Yeah. And Vision thinks she can take him down, and Galactus basically is like, no, you're not touching me whatsoever. Yeah. And ends up dispatching the Vision and sets a collision course for the Ultimate Universe Earth. And her last transmission is basically maybe trying to let them know the one person that could help is Reed Richards, but like I said, the Reed Richards in the Ultimate Universe is a villain and has killed a lot of people and did a lot of damage in the last little couple years on the Ultimate Universe. So that could be in the Cataclysm story arc, some redemption issue when it comes to Reed Richards. So it could be kind of cool to see.
Could be.
The three only Ultimate Universe titles, Ultimates, X-Men, and Spider-Man, are all switching over to new first issues coming up. With Ultimate Comics, Ultimates #1, Cataclysm, X-Men Cataclysm, Spider-Man Cataclysm, first issues to tie in with the actual Cataclysm miniseries. Yeah. So, I'm not sure how integral those are going to be. I get all the Ultimate titles anyway, so I'll probably stick with them through Cataclysm and see what happens if/when we get a relaunch. It's a 5-issue miniseries, kicks off on the 6th of November, so we're talking next week is the first part. So
that's pretty soon.
The scheduling is good, at least. We don't get Point 1 and have to wait a month or so.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like doing that.
Yeah. So, and with 3 titles in conjunction with the main book, it might be kind of, if they pace it right, we might get one a week.
Oh, that'd be actually not bad.
Yeah. So it could be. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I've been with the Ultimate Universe since the get-go with Ultimate Spider-Man #1 back in 2000.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of time in with these characters.
That
So
is a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. If this is the end of the Ultimate Universe, if it switches over to digital at the end, if Miles Morales comes over to the 616. It's written by Falkov. Did I say his name?
Yeah.
Falkov. The story's good. Story's solid. As I said, it's a setup book.
Yeah.
You get caught up on where people are, what the status quo is, the Ultimate Universe. As a quick recap as well. The art is okay. It kind of has the Francis Yu quality to it.
Oh yeah.
Like this splash page here. Check that out. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's alright.
But then there's some weaker pages, like Sue Storm has a really like derp look on her face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, check out this Sue, little derpy.
Yeah.
So it looks a little rushed in some spots, but it's serviceable art, and there's some really good pages. The cover is actually really cool. It's got like Galactus reflected in Vision's face and torso there, so it's kind of just a cool little impression of what's going on in the book. So yeah, Ultimate Comics Cataclysm .1. Not super integral if you've been reading the Ultimate Universe, know what's been going on the last little while, but it's kind of the kickoff to the...
It's like a bridge.
Yeah, it's a kickoff to what's going to be going on, possibly tying up is the Ultimate Universe as we know it. So, if you're a fan of the Ultimate Universe, I'd say pick this up. It's a good little read.
Cool. This week's trade review is something different.
Different is good.
Yeah. And I thought I would give it a go. It is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Bizarre title.
Now, it is based on a novel, and when I saw it on the shelf, I thought, that looks really awesome. I gotta pick it up. But I think there was something in my mind that recognized it or whatever, because there's the novel sitting right over there.
I saw that, and I'm like, wait, did you get both of them?
No, I guess my wife bought it about a month ago, and I've obviously seen it laying around, so this, I don't know, maybe it somehow, some sort of recognition sparked,
yeah.
But obviously not enough, because I purchased it. So we bought the novel for less than $10, and bought this graphic novel for $20.
And I'm assuming it's the exact same?
Well, pretty much, yeah. So, not that that's a bad thing. It's good.
No.
So, it's written by Ransom Riggs, who did both the novel and this adaptation.
Oh, that's kind of good.
Yeah, so it's really cool. The premise is, well, Ransom Riggs in real life is a photograph collector. He collects photographs of everything, like vintage photographs, old photographs, collections.
Interesting hobby.
Whatever. He just collects photographs because they're cool, right? He was planning on making, I believe, some sort of art book or whatever out of these photographs, when his publisher said, why don't you tie a narrative around it? And that's what he did. So basically, he took some photographs and then wrote a story around the photographs. And it worked pretty awesome, actually. Essentially, his story is about this boy named Jacob, who's living in current times. And his whole life he's heard stories from his grandfather about his grandfather's life growing up at Miss Peregrine's home. And
I'm assuming Ransom Riggs is a pen name.
No, it's his real name.
Like, real legal name.
Yeah.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah. So he just eventually stopped believing in his grandfather because they just sounded obviously fantastical type stories, like monsters and kids who can fly and all sorts of things, right? One day, though, his grandfather dies, killed by a monster that he sees. And unbeknownst to him, that is actually his power, is to see these unseeable monsters. Like, no one else can see them, you or I. But he can do it, which he doesn't know at this point, but that's his power. Anywho's, he goes off in search of Miss Peregrine, because that was his grandfather's final wish. Go find her, find the kids, find everything, search them out, save them, etc., etc. And lo and behold, that is what he does. He doesn't eventually save them per se, because there is another novel coming after this.
Yeah, I saw that in the back of the book here.
So
like
that should be pretty cool.
Yeah.
This one was really cool, this graphic novel, at least the adaptation, because, you know, you get to see it in front of your eyes instead of just imagining it within your head, which is nice sometimes with a movie or an adaptation. But I really like the coloring scheme because basically Jacob's life is black and white, which is shown in this book until he finds Miss Peregrine and the children, and then color enters it. So it's kind of neat how they separate the book that way.
Wizard of Ozian?
Yeah, kind of Wizard of Ozian, actually. Good call. It's fantastic. Everything about this book is great. I kind of wish it was full color, but then the way they did it makes sense. So I can't really complain too much about that. The art's great. I love it. I love that it's a little hardbound book. It was published by Yen Press. Not a big name publisher. I had never heard of this book coming out or seen it advertised, so it kind of flew under the radar for me. So when I saw it on the shelf, I thought it looked really cool, which is why I picked it up. And I definitely recommend it to everyone.
Some of the pictures in the novel are kind of creepy.
Yeah, the graphic novel has the same pictures interspersed throughout.
Yeah.
So, like...
Flying babies!
Cassandra Jean illustrates this, and so she'll draw around the pictures.
Oh, cool.
Right? So, like, there'll be a picture of whatever, and then she just makes her art fit around it, right? So it's pretty neat.
I might pick this up myself.
It's definitely good. Whether you read the graphic novel or the actual novel, it is highly recommended. Cannot wait for the second book called Hollow City to come out. It should be equally just as awesome. It takes place simultaneously in our time and World War II, so you got some cool time loopy stuff going on, and World War II is always a great time to explore story-wise.
Yeah.
So, check it out. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I can't recommend it enough, actually.
Cool.
So,
Well, you sold me. I'm gonna go pick this book up.
Yeah, it's
for $10.
Yeah, or cheaper at bookstores, actually,
Yeah.
like wherever Chapters or Indigo, or wherever you happen to go. So
Nice.
yeah. So
Pretty good.
do we have a PPP this week?
We do.
Pendulum Power
do.
Panel.
This week's power panel comes from Justice League number 24. It's another part of Forever Evil, as that's continuing on forever, I guess you would say.
Seems like.
The cover is actually really cool because it's kind of the bookend piece of Justice League number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got all of the Syndicate guys in the same poses, similar to what was on Justice League number 1.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat. I really enjoy the book. It's the first one for Justice League coming out of the .1 issue, so it's kind of good to see where everything's at now with the story they're telling.
All right.
And it's kind of, it has a little bit of an origin story about Ultraman, which is nice because he's such a cool character. Being the complete polar opposite of Superman, it's cool to see that type of character get a little bit of a spotlight, more so than just like the big bad of the piece. So it's hopefully they might do that in the upcoming Justice League issues, exploring the other parts of the crime syndicate, which I'd be kind of nice with. Still no reveal on the identity of the hooded dude in Crime Syndicate's clutches. Mm-hmm. We're probably not going to get that until sometime in Forever Evil. Yeah. But good issue. It's a fun issue to read. The awesome moment is
the actual power panel.
The actual power panel is a 2-page splash for when Black Adam just comes crashing through the window and just tackles Ultraman. Mm-hmm. It's a great 2-page splash because Black Adam has been one of my favorite characters for a long time, and this is some of the best Black Adam stuff we've gotten since 52. Yeah. And he came back recently, like the actual real one, so he kind of popped back up from the ashes, and he's decided to take on the Crime Syndicate because nobody gets to take over the world, according to Black Adam, which is a cool stance for him to be. Kind of hero, but also villainous at the same time. So he's going to go after Ultraman, but he's a little stronger than Black Adam kind of thought. But it's a nice 2-page spread of just Black Adam tackling down Ultraman, and it's really, really nicely done. Cool. And also, I didn't notice that in that issue there was a reference and a mentioning of a new Doom Patrol inside Justice League 24. So they're a team of superheroes apparently that was causing trouble for the Crime Syndicate in Convex. So they call themselves the Doom Patrol. So
they might be shunting over from that universe, possibly.
What universe?
the Ultraman universe there.
No, I think they're part of DC Universe, fighting back against the Crime Syndicate.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we might get a series out of them pretty soon, which would be kind of cool. That could be good.
All right.
Oh yeah. Little comic news this week. Not too much.
No, there's not really much at all.
Yeah. Well, it's a new series. We're getting a new Winter Soldier mini, which is kind of cool, called
Yeah.
The Bitter March. Could be interesting by Remender, so
That sounds
that's got me
interesting.
interested. It's set in the 60s during the Cold War era. It's
So it's evil Winter Soldier.
brainwashed Bucky. It's got S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Soviets fighting over some secret Nazi formula that Hydra has, so maybe a version of the Super Soldier Serum or whatever. It's supposed to be a James Bond style thriller espionage
looks great.
thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And by Remender, I'm in, so that'll definitely be a cool pickup. I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to that series starting. That comes out in April next year.
Yeah.
And Marvel, go ahead and more bean spilling when it comes to their storylines.
Yeah.
Releases a script to Mighty Avengers, was it #1? Yeah.
Yes.
And reveals the identity of Spider Hero. Like,
Yep.
I hate this name. This costume is stupid. It's clearly
Which
designed.
is why they're turning him into Ronin.
Yeah.
But that's also dumb.
Well, yeah, because the name doesn't make... Well, the character's identity was revealed as Blade.
Yeah.
Which, I like Blade. Why not just put him on the team?
Yeah, I don't understand that. But again, well, here's the thing. He is half vampire.
Yeah.
So he's got extra strength and durability and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, first off, why is he not out fighting vampires? I can see helping out New York because,
I think that was a
Earth's
truce.
getting
There was
invaded
a truce,
and
wasn't
stuff.
there? During the X-Men story arc with the
I
vampires?
believe that's all over.
I haven't kicked that much trouble yet, though. Last little while.
So, A, why isn't he doing that? And then B,
Can't believe you're doing that.
why agree to join a superhero-y team that only fights, usually, superhero-y people?
Street level stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little mind-boggling.
Yeah. And then decides to abandon his identity and become a Ronin, or Ronin.
Yeah, see...
Like, we don't have to put him in every book. We don't need... Like, I know Bendis created the character.
Yeah.
Like, no one's got to pick that up and run with it later on. It's fine. I like Hawkeye being Ronin. I thought that was kind of cool.
It was okay.
Because he didn't know who he was for a while and lost his way before he
Mm.
went back to being Hawkeye, which is fine. Blade's a pretty secure character in who he is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I would like it more if Blade were just on the team.
Me too. But again, it just wouldn't make sense. He just seems like an ill fit.
It's a pigeonholed shoehorned in character. Like,
Yeah.
I want to get Blade in my book.
I know they
Why?
want to reintroduce him, but is this really the right way?
It's just the right book to do it in.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's weird.
And Blade as an Avenger seems weird.
Yeah. One little thing that broke yesterday, not the biggest piece of news, but I'm going to mention it anyways. DC Comics closing offices in New York. Moving to Burbank, California. To be with Jim Lee.
And the rest of DC Entertainment.
Yeah. Closer to the movie studios. I can see how it kind of makes sense, actually. But again, you did have a point earlier when we were talking about this. There is teleconferencing and internet and Skype and all sorts of things you can do to contact people.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's not like there's teams. It's not like Jim Lee is sitting in an office in New York drawing a board anymore. Most of the artists are all like at their homes doing work. So
exactly.
It's not like
It's just a historical thing. You always had Marvel here, and then down the block you had DC.
Yeah.
And it was just a landscape type of thing in the New York City to go see.
How long do you think till Marvel ups and moves?
I don't think Marvel's going to do it because
They're so synonymous with New York.
they are. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
DC's not. They're
They
city there, city there,
Yeah,
city there,
exactly.
city there, city there.
They have a New York, but
Marvel
we've never-
is New York.
Yeah.
And I think they'll stay just because of that. But also because they don't follow DC. Like, when DC rebooted their whole universe, Marvel didn't throw out 80 years of continuity.
Yeah.
They kept trucking along. They just made it more reader-friendly.
Yeah.
So, the fact that DC packed up a move, I don't think Marvel's going to copy that. Not at all.
I assume the building is still going to be there. Maybe a tour thing. I mean, it's in their best interest.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Unless they need it like a smaller New York office. Maybe they'll keep a floor
Yeah.
instead of the whole building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. We'll see. It's just a kind of little bit of interesting type New York type news.
Yeah.
So,
When I go there one day, I won't be able to go to it, though.
that's true.
It's a little sad.
So we got some
toy news. Not as much as last week, thankfully.
That was a lot of toy news.
That was a lot. Well, it was after the show, so I wanted to get the cool stuff out.
Yeah.
There's one of my new favorite toy companies, Max Factory. Their Figma series lines. They do Legend of Zelda figure. They've done a Metroid figure, which are really cool, which are on pre-order right now. So hopefully they'll be arriving before Christmas. Yeah. They're doing an Indiana Jones figure.
Cool.
And 6-inch scale. It's got a really good likeness of Harrison Ford.
Or Shia LaBeouf.
Nope. No Shia LaBeouf included. So fantastic. It has swappable faces.
With Shia LaBeouf.
No, stop.
Alright.
So it has different expressions of Indy when he's in different moments and that. And like I said, good sculpts across the board. You get 2 different whips. One that's coiled up to hang on his belt, and one that's like you can bend and pose it, like mid-whip pose and everything, which is kind of neat. You also get his gun and his holster, which is obvious little. You have to have those included. Yeah. But one of the cool things as well, you actually get 3 little pieces of scaled versions of items from the 3 movies. So you get like the idol from Raiders, you get the stone from Temple, and the Grail from Last Crusade. And it looks great. It's got all the great articulation that the Figma figures are known for. What about
in-scale boulder to crush Indy with?
You could just go out in the garden and pick it up.
Alright.
Yeah. It's a really cool figure. It's, like I said, great likeness, great articulation. It's going to be about $60, so the price point for a 6-inch figure is higher than normal, but the style of the figure you're getting, the quality of it, it's kind of understandable, the price point being a little higher. There's, speaking of higher price points, Action Toys and Takara are pairing up for what looks to be the first in the series, because it has a designation number of -01. It's the Ultimetal Optimus Prime figure. It's 16 inches tall, somewhere around there. It's got metal guts on the inside, so like all the pistons and his ligatures on the inside are metal. You can take his armor plating off, like his bicep piece and the shoulder piece, to see all the metal parts on the inside. Very similar to the Masterpiece MPO-1 Optimus Prime from years back when that came out. It's non-transformable, but the MPO-1 was transformable, so if you want a transforming Optimus Prime, go that route. It's, like I said, it's got metal in it. Really cool figure. $800!
Wow.
Somewhere in and around that price point. Some sites have it for pre-order at more than that, but the actual ad for it in the Japanese magazine that had it first advertised put the yen conversion at $800. A little pricey for a non-transforming Optimus Prime made out of metal.
Yeah.
Little pricey. So will not be getting that. And NECA continues their NES styled figures. They did a Jason and a Freddy figure. They kind of had them repainted in the garish colors that the NES games put them in, and cool little packaging, gatefold packaging in that. They're doing a RoboCop in that same series. Blue tinted paint, little cell shading on the face, and it's the same scale and size as the NECA figure they released already, RoboCop, but it looks really cool. If you're a fan of the old NES games, the old 8-bit games back in the day of these characters like Freddy, Jason, and RoboCop, it's a cool series to see. I'm hoping maybe they might put them all in a box set when all things said and done, as opposed to trying to pick them up individually. But good figures.
Cool.
Good stuff.
How about some video games there,
some
sir?
video games as well. I'm still running through GTA and Pokemon. I'm just about to face off against the league champion in my Pokemon. And then the real game begins.
I see.
But I did pick up Arkham Origins from last week, and I've spent, maybe a few hours with that. Would have been more, only I got caught on the first boss fight against Deathstroke. It's basically a half-hour quick-time event.
Oh, yeah?
But it's fun, because, Deathstroke being...
It's got all the mini-movies throughout the game, right?
Yeah, it's cutscenes. But this boss fight, you're fighting against Deathstroke, and the camera angle is kind of different than normal gameplay.
Yeah.
And he's doing counters and reversals just like you are. So if you go in just blazing, he's going to counter your stuff just like you do against the jobbers in the rest of the game. He's got his bow staff, he's got a grappling hook, his gun, his sword, and there's different stages of the fight.
Oh, that's cool.
Massive health bar that doesn't diminish all that quickly. And there's no checkpoints, which really pisses me off.
So if you fail, you're back to the start of that
start of the boss fight. It took me a half hour to get through it.
Yeah.
I finally eventually did it after like the 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th try, and the game crashed.
Ooh.
Which apparently has been a problem for a few people with Arkham Origins on the 360. Game crashes.
Oh.
So I might try disconnecting from Xbox Live when I play. That was one of the ideas. But this brings me back to some issues that I have with modern gaming. This shit shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, I know they're more complicated, but you shouldn't happen.
At this point in time.
Yeah. This is what testing is supposed to solve and fix. Like,
Yeah,
ridiculous. And it was right at the worst time of the boss fight. Like, I finally beat it and the game crashes.
Oh, so do you have to do this again?
Yeah, my save file is hopefully still there. Once I rebooted it and lost it, I'm like, no, I'm stopping. I'm not gonna rage quit on this game and get really angry. I'm done with this for tonight.
Yeah.
But playing Pokemon and GTA, I haven't even had a chance to crack into The Wolf Among Us yet from Telltale Games, based on Fables. So that's been sitting in my Steam library and just hanging out there for a little while. So I would like to try and get around to playing it by next week, the episode 1 that I have. So hopefully I can talk about it then. On the other Telltale front, they had their trailer for Walking Dead Season 2 came out.
Yeah.
Releasing later this year. I haven't finished Season 1 yet, so I didn't watch the trailer. But from what I can tell and figure out from my own overhearings on the internet, what happens to one of the main characters in the game. But you're playing as Clementine, but an older version of Clementine, still with her short hair. So good job. And yeah, there's no way I have any doubt that this is going to be as good as the first season. So it's basically on pre-order right now in my Steam library. They're fantastic games. A point-and-click adventure, quick-time event-style gameplay is great. Like I said, I'm looking forward to playing that similar style in Wolf Among Us.
Cool.
So people should go buy those too. Buy both of them. Buy all of them. Anything by Telltale Games. Go get them. Whatever format you want. PC, Vita, PS3, 360, whatever. Go get them. Good stuff.
Recommended. Alrighty. What's next on the docket, Gary?
Well, we've got some interweb news.
We do.
From around the webs. We talked about this last week. Ben Kingsley filming that little secret Mandarin short. And it kind of maybe potentially got revealed that it is definitely a Marvel short.
Yeah.
And it could be the real quote-unquote Mandarin getting just pissed off about what Kildrich and Trevor did. Yeah. So they mentioned in Iron Man 3 that Trevor Slattery had cosmetic surgery to, I guess, maybe look different than he actually does. Maybe he had the surgery to look like the real Mandarin, so Ben Kingsley is actually playing the real Mandarin, maybe.
Yeah.
So,
which I hope.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be fantastic, and it's probably going to be on the Thor Blu-ray. I hope it's not on the Cat Blu-ray, because that's so much further away than the Thor Blu-ray. So Thor coming out, next week?
I don't know.
Maybe 2 weeks. So hopefully it's on the Thor Blu-ray. They've never filmed one before the movie comes out before. That's kind of interesting. Yeah. But, yeah, hopefully that's the case, where it's Ben Kingsley is actually the real Mandarin getting just pissed about what happened.
True.
See, speaking of trailers as well, you see the Days of Future Past trailer?
Yes, I posted it on our Facebook page.
What did you think?
It was alright.
Yeah?
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really hopeful this movie turns out well.
The only thing I'm worried about are too many characters on the screen.
Look what happened the last time they shoved X-Men in our face. We got X-Men 3.
I noticed Pixie...
Where was Pixie?
You didn't see her?
Where was she?
Pretty prominently displayed in that trailer.
That was Blink.
Oh, yeah, it was Blink.
Yeah.
Not Pixie.
Not Pixie.
They're both pink, so I kind of...
One has wings.
Yeah, I know. Alright. It was Blink.
Blink. And, Sunspot?
Yeah.
Which was cool. Warpath looks awesome.
He does.
Holy crap, does he look good?
I mean,
it
looks great, but it's just, I just hope it's not overcluttered.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest worry about this film.
Yeah. And, Wolverine, I guess, has quite the integral role in this movie.
He was gonna. I mean, it wasn't gonna be Kitty going back. Wolverine, for better or worse, is the face of that X-Men franchise.
That's true.
He's been in every single one.
Yeah.
So, which is, if it gets them made...
Yeah.
And we get Warpath in a movie, and Blink, and Bishop, I'm cool with that. What surprised me the most about the trailer was, A, how good it looks.
Yeah.
And it wasn't run-gun toady action.
Yes.
Like, it was a Bryan Singer movie trailer. It set the tone and the pace of the film. Like when the two Xaviers had the little psychic talk, which was probably via Wolverine, and just like James McAvoy when he's like he doesn't want that future, and he's like just it looks so good.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that carries over to the movie. We have our action parts, which are good to have, but it makes it a better movie if you actually care about and feel for these people.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this a lot.
Me
I
too.
got a lot of high hopes. I love First Class. It's weird that we're getting a completely new director, and connecting the previous set of movies into it.
Yeah.
And like you said, the worry is going to be too many mutants and too many characters. But if they're just small pieces here or there that you can branch out into later movies,
I agree.
I'd be better with.
It probably will be. Mark Miller has a big plan.
Yeah.
So
as long as like Blink is Blink and not in name only, like Psylocke was in X-Men 3.
Yeah. I know.
You didn't know it was Psylocke until you checked the credits.
I know. Exactly.
And wasn't Psylocke.
Yeah. On a sadder note, we had two notable deaths this week in the entertainment world. Marsha Wallace, who was Edna Krabappel on The Simpsons, passed away at age 70. And Lou Reed, founder, I'm going to say founder, just because it sounds better, and lead singer of the Velvet Underground, also passed away. Assumably, I believe, from natural causes. But he did have let's call it hard living life.
Mm-hmm.
Hard
Well,
living.
Marsha Wallace had complications of pneumonia,
So,
which is 70, yeah.
yeah, I think he was 70 as well, actually.
I didn't know that Edna Krabappel was on The Simpsons since episode 2.
Yeah.
Like, that's a long time that she's been on that show. She did voices on Darkwing Duck as well.
Eh.
Shut up. You love
Yeah.
Darkwing Duck.
No one loves Darkwing
I love
Duck.
Darkwing Duck. It's like your introductory
Point
Batman character.
proven.
Shut up. So yeah, kind of sad news this week as well.
So, yeah, everyone's doing Lou Reed tributes. David Bowie,
yeah.
Arctic Monkeys sang a song, Walk on the Wild Side, at the recent concert. Everyone's paying their respect, which is pretty cool. I like that. I love when other music community bands and stuff show their support.
Yeah.
So
they know they owe a lot to guys like him.
Exactly. So, cool stuff, but very sad.
Yeah, one of our little Halloween-y episodes talked about Trick or Treat.
Yes.
And we're getting a sequel.
Hmm.
The writer-director had a special screening, I think somewhere out in Hollywood. I'm not sure he does it every year, but had a special screening of Trick or Treat for people, and had a basically just teaser art that he is writing, and he's going to direct the sequel to Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
So no script, nothing yet, no confirming actors or anything. It's just there is going to be a sequel. Let's hopefully it comes out on time this time around.
I think it will.
The first one.
I think it probably will.
Yeah, that movie is like Evil Dead levels of cult following.
I don't know if it's that level.
Well,
come on.
I'd say it is.
Evil Dead's had like 35 years to build it up.
Well, people are
Trick or
ravenous.
Treat's only had less than 10.
Yeah, people are ravenous about that movie. Like people pushing it to come out got that movie released finally. Just sat on a shelf.
I know.
Hell.
I know. A lot of movies do though.
Yeah.
So
we had our Walking Dead renewed for season 5. Pretty obvious it was going to get it. I've enjoyed season 4 so far.
It's been good.
Yeah,
been pretty solid.
But season 3 had its ups and downs. So season 4.
I am getting a little tired of the sickness storyline.
It's been 3 episodes.
I know, but I'm like, come on, let's move on.
It's the main point of the year.
Let's move on.
What do you want the main point of the story to be?
I don't know. Let's go out and fight somebody, and I don't know, move on from the prison.
What? Oh, they're gonna have to leave that prison.
Yeah.
I think they're.
It's just full of disease.
Yeah, I think Carol's part in it was a little shocking.
Yeah.
Although not really surprising.
Yeah.
I think her copping to it so easy.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, I did it.
Yeah, I know.
She's stronger than she looks.
I guess so. Yeah.
I like Tyrese coming into his own, kind of almost being the Tyrese from the comic book now.
Yeah.
Where it's just like hammer time.
Yeah.
Like, that was
Agreed.
kind of cool. It's not as good as his best moment from the comic books, but where he's in the cafeteria and they like write him off and they open the door like a day later and he's just standing there.
Yeah.
Every zombie's dead. Like, oh, okay.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, last bit of thing I have from the world of horror, being as it's Halloween tomorrow, today,
Is
whatever.
it tomorrow? What's today?
Today.
30th. Is it 31st?
Always the 31st of
So tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Tomorrow.
Historically, Halloween has been the 31st of October.
Alrighty, so tomorrow.
Clive Barker, the writer of, he directed the first one, didn't he?
He did as well.
Yeah, of Hellraiser, the franchise that has been beaten to death so hard over the last few years.
last 10 years.
Yeah, completely unnecessarily because it is such a fantastic franchise. They kicked Doug Bradley out from being Pinhead because, well, they didn't kick him out. He read the scripts and no.
Yeah, it's just too subpar.
Yeah, it's direct-to-DVD stuff. It's been, I think, video on demand. They've all been crap.
He was in talks with the studios.
Yeah, Clive Barker went in with a pitch to remake, reboot, or whatever the first one, which is a fantastic horror movie because the Cenobites are almost the secondary characters in that movie.
Yeah.
And they agreed to his pitch. He's going to write, possibly direct, hopefully.
Probably is what he said.
A Hellraiser remake, reboot, whatever. And he actually went in with 2 conditions. Yeah. Like, he got to demand these.
Yeah.
Doug Bradley, back as Pinhead. Done.
Yeah.
And on-set practical effects.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
No CGI.
Yeah, as much as they can get away. Like, for, portal openings to hell, I'm fine with getting some CG in. Because, a 5 million watt light bulb behind a screen. We can do better than that. But, chain effects and skinning people, let's, do that on set, make it more visceral.
Yeah.
So, that is now jumped to the top of my I can't wait to see movie list. If that comes out in 2015, I'm just going to live at the movie theater.
Yeah.
Between, February and September of 2015, I don't need to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
I can just, rent an apartment somewhere near a movie theater and just go downstairs.
Which would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Just looking forward to that a lot.
I think that's it for today, is it not?
Yeah. Nice little brisk week.
Yeah, so, per usual, please subscribe to our channel. We love people, and we love people listening to us.
Yes.
Also, you can catch us on our Facebook page at the Pendulum Podcast. You can find us on our respective blogs. Gary's is at
The Shelf Life of Ragnarok, tumblr.com.
And mine is at the telltalemind.com, or you can just chat me up on Tumblr at mindmelts-home.tumblr.com. Tweet Gary. Can you not?
You can, at the Ragnarok.
And, find us everywhere. Because we are everywhere.
Yes.
Next week, I will be reviewing Mara for our trade review. Published by Image, written by Brian Wood and Ming Doyle. Looks awesome. The tagline, a coming-of-rage story. I love that.
That's awesome.
I love that.
I'm thinking I might do Cataclysm Part 1. Kind of a continuation from this week.
We will have another PPP. We will have more on-the-spot comic reviews, toy news, game news, and all the other goodness you expect from the Pendulum.
Love.
Exactly.
And maybe a new segment.
Really?
I'm brainstorming a new segment.
All right. Well, we may debut that next week then.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. So, for Geoff and
Gary,
that's it for this week.
Happy Halloween!